This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. The American Factory is a Netflix original film talking about the journey of an Asian company trying to establish itself in Moraine, Ohio, as an auto glass manufacturing factory on a previously owned General Motors assembly plant. A stunning yet captivating documentary project by Stephen Bogner and Julia Reichert focuses its lenses on telling a story to the world about Fuyao, who created a lot of jobs and revitalized an industry, and his esteemed employees, many of whom were formerly employed at the General Motors plant. The film showcases a phenomenal cultural difference between the Chinese and American communities, growing pains, internal and external conflicts, and the changing attitudes about work in light of ever-increasing globalization. This paper will discuss an in-depth analysis of the fundamental issues portrayed in this fantastic Oscar award-winning film for Best Documentary Feature in 2020. Main body. Neoliberalism is the fundamental aspect to consider when understanding the success of the American factory as it communicates the political and economic ideology. The sole objective of neoliberalism is to disintegrate the holding process of Keynesian nostrums on a capital basis and the state. The structure and landscape of consumption and production have changed in the recent past concerning globalization, free trade, and deregulation. It is precisely the case that the film industry is susceptible to the interchanges. However, how extreme is it that a movie propounds a countergood judgment at the extent of form? The movie American Factory tries to clarify further that neoliberalism is not a slogan, and neither does it submit to a logical location. It deeply asks how the world receives instructions and who, within neoliberalism and any transition from it, gets to tell it. In the film American Factory, Bogner and Reichert delve deep into the livelihoods of the American workers in Ohio and the problematic transition experienced by Chinese managers to American work culture and way of life. Furthermore, the documentary touches on key fundamental socio-economic issues such as unionization and work safety measures while still showcasing the difference in cultural setups between the two communities and the culture clash resulting from the acquisition. A discussion has been fronted among Chinese and United States communities on cultural differences concerning work. For instance, Chinese workers have proven to be relatively skilled over their counterparts in terms of productivity, effectiveness, and speed. They perform better and work for longer periods. On the contrary, many American workers do not possess the work experience necessary for an auto glass producing factory. In the film, we encounter charming scenes of the American and Chinese co-workers having positive bonding experiences, getting to know one another, and even a spectacular recorded location of Fuyao chairperson, Chao Duong, making rounds on the revitalized factory. He candidly talks about several essential changes he plans to implement in the company's architectural structure. However, interpersonal tensions alongside cultural and countrywide strains play out at Fuyao Glass America. This tension comes about due to Fuyao being a multinational corporation operating in America and paying its workers relatively minimal wages than its predecessors. General Motors employees received higher wages before the recession and worked under a union contract. These same employees of the Inglass Company come to work with the exact expectations and feel that the Fuyao management should do better. Safety concerns are also on high alert. American employees claim to be exposed to risky degrees of heat inside the workplace, as portrayed in the film by Reichert and Bogner. The Chinese community is also subjected to a string of coarsely generic, sometimes cringeworthy talks about American culture. The president of the glass company advises his Asian employees of their brothers in the United States, stating, "We need to use our wisdom to guide and help them because we're better than them." American Factory further tries to explain in several ways the division between union supporters and union busters, and between management and workers. Fuyao management establishes talks on several occasions to educate them about the American work culture and the importance of union organizations to workers. The true feelings among the Chinese community against union organizations are still unknown to many, a factor that may be significantly influenced by the migration and visa status of most of these Chinese workers. Fu Yao's management style is borrowed from a playbook called the anti-union, which is usually used by American companies. An interesting theory is that the Fuyao glass factory has been in business since its inception and has been making profits by supplying glass to all the General Motors shops worldwide. However, paying the same previous workers much lower wages than before. It is a correct argument to suggest that General Motors has employed more foreign workers than Americans in the United States. On the issue of culture and productivity, this documentary, American Factory, showcased sufficient evidence of the role that autonomy and trust play in industrial manufacturing in Chinese markets. They appear to listen carefully and eagerly while getting their superiors' advice and directions more than their American colleagues. Also, a few of them acknowledge the difficulties they experience when working long hours and in very hot hazardous environments. They have to work many miles away from their families and friends. Due to its one-sided narration of the factory, highlighting cultural variations while ignoring the advantages to nearby workers, the movie, in a single experience, will no doubt make contributions to an understanding that Chinese funding in United States production is something to be avoided, and in that respect, the film has a decidedly anti-China thrust. Conclusion. In conclusion, American Factory highlights how Chinese commercial enterprise within America hurts the workers. However, it doesn't forestall the problem. Its eyes are, in the end, on us all to create the destiny of labor. America has to stay open to exchange and funding from different international locations to rebuild our efficient abilities and enhance the people's dwindling preferences for living. China will no longer become a savior of United States production. However, at the same time, Chinese funding needs to no longer be demonized, as we tend to do today. We cannot forget that China maintains its door open to corporations from the United States, and the relaxation of the arena below the condition that the American president management is enforcing more great price lists on Chinese imports, and persevering with the change battle that the quick can't be seen. Compared to the United States, China is more assured of embodying a globalized world. Did you like this The American Factory, Plot and Issues Portrayed sample? To get more works like this one, make sure to check out the free database of academic paper examples at ivypanda.com. You will find thousands of samples for all your study needs, without even having to register.